it's on again. Better get ready to climb back on the limb. Come on, man, shake the dust off and move. Don't yawn and prolong what you got to do. And if you've been going through any negative phase, well, here's your opportunity for turning the page. Today's a new chapter. Right to plot and make it end with the wave. Let's get it going, don't make delays. So ring the alarm and lift your arm high. Like Georgia, we get a piece of the pie. Begin it with the step, you'll get in it in a sec. You'll be winning like you never did it when you overslept. So right this minute, get right with it. What time is it? It's time to wake up.
Good morning, Birmingham. This is a regular meeting of the Birmingham City Council. Today is Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. This morning, our invocation will be delivered by Reverend Antonio Owens, Associate Minister of Emmanuel Temple Church of God in Christ. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Council Pro Tem Wardeen Alexander. If you're willing and able, please stand.
High crime in our neighborhoods, negative neighborhoods, children roaming the streets. We start by bowing our heads and closing our eyes. And at the same time, for a spirit of oneness, I ask that you hold someone by the hand. Father God, I thank you this morning for giving me the opportunity to be here. I ask that you count me worthy to call upon your people. You said that if your people who are called by your name will humble themselves, seek your face and turn from their evil ways, you will hear from heaven and heal their lands. We're actually healing right now. You also said, is there a balm in Gilead? And I'm sure that there is. We ask that you set your balms in this place with healing, with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding as we make decisions about your people. But I ask that you be in every part of the agenda, even the parts with the minutes. I ask that you bless our leader, our mayor. Bless all that he put his hands to do. Bless each and every council members, their family, their households, and all that are in their charge. Bless every staff member. I ask that you bless those that are here, their needs that need to be met. And we ask that you endow them with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. I pray, God, that you allow this meeting not to just be a regular meeting, but a meeting where you are the full focus. I ask that you bind us together as one, and let this not be the only time that you are invoked in his presence. In our son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Good morning, Madam Clerk. Could we please have the roll call?
Good morning. Councilmember Abbott. Present. Councilmember, I'm sorry, I'm blank right now. Councilmember, I'm just gonna go down the row. I'm sorry, my list is missing. Councilmember Tate. Councilmember Smithman. Here. Councilmember, Councilmember Clark. Present. Councilmember Moore.
Good morning.
Good morning. Councilmember Woods. Councilmember Williams. President Pro Tem Alexander. And Council President O'Quinn.
Good morning.
Sorry about that.
All right.
You called it first.
At this time, the minutes are not ready for the December 5th, 2023 through April 16th, 2024 meetings. Mr. Mayor?
Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning to the entire council as well. Some serious feedback on this mic. Good to see you all this morning, and good morning to the public. I have a few notes, Mr. President and council. First being Magic City SIPS returns this summer. The City of Birmingham's Department of Innovation, as well as Economic Opportunity, will once again host a citywide event series called Magic City SIPS. The aim of this initiative is to highlight Birmingham's thriving hospitality industry by encouraging residents and visitors to support area restaurants and bars throughout the summer months. SIPS officially kicks off May 29th. I think that's a cool date. And will run every Wednesday from 4 to 7 p.m. I didn't choose that date, by the way. It'll run through August 28th. And I do want to encourage residents who need or want more information or want to participate and discover the list of participating businesses to go to MagicCitySips.com. Again, that's MagicCitySips.com. Just a note related to two of your colleagues. The City of Birmingham will host a District 9 Town Hall meeting. The community is invited to join me and Councilwoman LaTonya Tate for a District 9 Town Hall meeting Thursday, May 2nd. The event will take place at 6 p.m. at Fountain Heights Recreation Center. The address is 1101 Fifth Avenue West. And at this town hall meeting, information will be provided about upcoming projects, initiatives, and issues, as well as residents get an opportunity who live in District 9 to present their challenges, voice their concerns, and for me, the councilwoman, and staff to address those and respond to those issues. Just a weekly note regarding uniform cart delivery. As a weekly reminder, all single-family residents are now under the same uniform cart system. And the City of Birmingham will continue to keep residents informed about bulk trash pickup with daily updates online at birminghamal.gov/bulk trash. At this time, Mr. President and Council, I would like to ask Christine Rezick with the Crisis Center, along with any guests she may have, to join me at the podium. And this morning, they are here, we're here to issue and share a proclamation about Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and allow them to provide some additional information as well. If you were unaware, an American is unfortunately sexually assaulted every 68 seconds, according to the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. Last year alone, the Crisis Center provided medical care for 285 victims and survivors of sexual harm in our community. On tomorrow, staff and I will have the option to join people around the country in wearing denim in support of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Today, we would like to take the time to honor the work of the Crisis Center and bring about awareness of this important topic. And so, if it pleases the council at this time, I will read a proclamation in part and then have Miss Christine speak. And it states, whereas it is imperative that we raise awareness about the prevalence of sexual assault, provide support to survivors, and work towards preventing future incidents of sexual violence. And whereas community is powerful, and when people come together to ensure that our cities are inclusive and equitable, we are able to address all abuses of power that contribute to sexual violence. Therefore, I, Randall L. Woodfin, Mayor of the City of Birmingham, along with the Birmingham City Council, do hereby proclaim April 2024 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. I urge all residents to join in our efforts to raise awareness about sexual assault, support survivors, and work towards creating a culture of respect and consent. I call upon community organizations, government agencies, businesses, and individuals to participate in events and activities that promote awareness, prevention, and support for survivors of sexual assault. And at this time, council, if it's okay with you, I wanted Ms. Christine to maybe introduce some of her team members and definitely go into detail about the importance of this.
Good morning. First, let me extend a heartfelt thank you to Mayor Woodfin for the proclamation against sexual assault. My name is Kristen Rezick, and I'm the coordinator of the Crisis Center Sexual Assault Nurse Examiner Program, known as SANE. The SANE program is one of 8 programs under the Crisis Center. I am here today with Anna Sullivan, our interim executive director, and my colleagues from SANE and our rape response programs. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month and a time for us to reflect, educate, and take meaningful action to combat sexual assault and violence in our communities. Each Tuesday of April, we wear teal to show our support for sexual assault survivors. Sexual assault is a pervasive social issue. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 14 men have been sexually assaulted in their lifetime. And for our friends in the LGBTQ community, the stats are much higher. Research shows that survivors that seek care through a SANE program have much lower risk of alcohol and drug use and less attempts of suicide. So the work we do is vital in keeping our community healthy. We provide free, specialized forensic medical care and patient advocacy for survivors. While emergency rooms can serve as a direct point of entry for survivors, survivors often have long wait times due to prioritization of life-threatening conditions. Waiting in a crowded ER after going through trauma of sexual assault can result in additional trauma. This is where SANE programs come in and are able to offer a comprehensive approach and provide survivors with a safe, compassionate environment to receive not only medical care, but forensic evidence collection and access to support services like counseling and legal advocacy. We also have the privilege of working with many partners, including the Sexual Assault Kit Initiative team, which has identified 159 serial sex offenders in Jefferson County, which brings long-awaited justice to survivors. Despite the importance of SANE and rape response programs, we find ourselves facing challenges. With a decrease in federal funding this year and the closure of other SANE and rape response programs across the state, we are being asked to do more with less, leaving survivors unable to access the care that they need. In the face of these challenges, it is imperative that we come together and advocate for increased funding and resources for survivors. Together, we can create a community where survivors are supported and get the justice deserved. Thank you.
Mr. President and council, thank you so much. And whoever adjusted the mic, thank you as well. I have one last note of importance that I think is important, and I share with this council. I have been in communication with you all for the last week and a half, maybe 2 weeks about this. And I want to acknowledge the public's frustration. I want to acknowledge the public's concern of how this issue is being addressed. And my commitment to you all, as well as the public, that we will communicate more about what we've been doing to address this issue, and it is related to exhibition driving. I'm going to start with, there's been an uptick of exhibition driving probably for the last 2, if not actually 3 years, post-coronavirus, not just in Birmingham, but in urban cores across the nation. As I talk to mayors across the nation, mid-sized cities, larger cities, smaller cities, this activity is taking place. It doesn't just take place on public right-of-way. It takes place in private parking lots, church parking lots, business parking lots. It is something that is beyond annoyance or being loud. It is illegal activity that is actually dangerous and causes harm to other people, including in our past here in Birmingham. And so I want to first acknowledge you and thank you for delving deep into getting the state to assist us in creating an exhibition law bill in Montgomery that was passed. This law has been in existence for a year. To remind the public, this law is in isolation to exhibition driving only. I do think it includes street racing as well, which is technically different from exhibition driving. However, this law gives us teeth to ticket for exhibition driving. It also includes the ability to tow a vehicle and keep that vehicle in possession for up to 48 hours unless the judge extends it more, as well as the law allows for up to felony arrest if there's felony elude, police engaging, activating their lights, and the person giving chase. And so just an update, toward the end of summer of last year, Deputy Chief Mike Pickett, who was the Deputy Chief of Special Operations for the city of Birmingham, he developed a response to address exhibition driving in Birmingham. And this response was named Operation Night Rider. The first day, I would say, of this year that the police started receiving significant calls and an uptick of exhibition driving, and officers observing the significant uptick was on April 5th, so it was the beginning of this month. So the following weekend, April 12th, I do want to tell you about that operation that weekend. The Special Bureau implemented the first phase of Operation Night Rider, and I just want to share some of the first results. That weekend, 5 arrests were made. That included charges for 3 felony eluding, 2 for exhibition driving, and then various other charges when the police were able to capture the suspect and what was found in the vehicles, which included 7 guns seized, multiple rifles, and 1 Glock switch. You should also know 7 of the cars were impounded. 3 of the cars of the 7 were actually stolen. So yes, criminal behavior doesn't stop at just stealing the car, but stupid enough to actually commit exhibition driving in it as well. So while it may have appeared that there was no strategy, there have been 5 significant arrests made and various operations going since the weekend of April 12th. I think in addition to that, what I want to acknowledge is that various search warrants were conducted to include chop shop locations that were discovered all time back to arrests made during the first week of the operation. And so I want to be clear that this operation is not a one weekend done situation. The operation was this past weekend as well. And although rain may have tamped down some of the behavior, what you saw this past weekend was full visibility on suppression. But I'm very, very honest in this situation. First, acknowledging this operation would not be successful without the Sheriff's Office. So there's been coordination with the Sheriff's Office, and I want to thank Sheriff Petway for partnering with BPD to provide additional assistance. We've been able to identify some of the hot spots. We know 803rd Avenue West. We know between the 18th and 25th block of 1st Avenue North. We know portions of 5 Points South as well as 5th Avenue South. And there are other areas that Intel has been able to collect and identify where these meetups take place. We've also seen a pattern where small businesses, whatever event they're having, where there's a spill out of patrons, and that is a high visibility, that this type of behavior tends to attract this area. So we've started engaging, talking to small business owners about business compliance and their responsibility for the exterior, as well as the public right-of-way in front of their small business and holding them accountable. I do want to note that there were no injuries to any officers or suspects during these last 2 weekend operations. We know the behavior is at its height Friday nights, Saturday nights. We've since found that that behavior is high during Sunday daytime before sunset as well. So we're adjusting, again, it's fluid, so we're adjusting where we can be. Here's the point that I really want to make to the public, and to you all is that even with the operations, we can't have officers in every intersection, nor every private parking lot, church parking lot, business parking lot. And the exhibition law speaks to parking lots as well, not just public right-of-way, without the permission of the business owner or the owner of the parking lot. However, the law is very clear for any moving violation that takes place in the city of Birmingham, for that matter, any other city in the state, with the exception of 2 cities in Jefferson County who currently have traffic cameras. If the officer doesn't see it, an officer cannot ticket and or tow and or if need be make arrests after the fact, i.e. you are at home or you are out, you witness exhibition driving, you call the police show up, they didn't witness it or see it, nothing can be done after the fact, and that is based on state law. Therefore, there has been an ample effort. I know you all have been trying for 3 years, but I think we have gotten it down to something narrow to engage the legislative session and our legislators before the session ends this year to allow an exception and or an amendment to the existing exhibition driving law that will allow camera usage for exhibition driving and drag racing only, not any other form of a moving violation. If we are successful, then that changes the game. That allows us to not only continue our operations, but if and when exhibition driving occurs in an intersection or in a private lot where it was not given permission, and there's camera usage that's able to capture that, then after the fact, the police can engage in issuing a ticket and or towing and or up to an arrest if there's a felony elude or other forms. In this exception, we would also ask that, we currently have what's in parking enforcement employees. They're officers, they're civilian. But that will allow non-sworn to also engage, and if they identify the activity, that they can share with the BPD, and then again, go out, issue a ticket and or tow and or up to an arrest. I've since shared the draft of the amended language with you this morning. I believe we have some advocates down in Montgomery advocating for us, but I want to be very clear with you as the summer months approach. Without camera usage, we're going to be hamstringed on the ability to catch this every time it happens. My excitement and encouragement is that if cameras are allowed to be used, then it totally levels the playing field for us. And literally the next day or a few hours later can go back, identify who committed the crime, and then after the fact still engage, including up to, my favorite part, actually towing their vehicle. I think we need to send a very clear signal that this behavior is illegal, it's dangerous, and you got to go somewhere else and do it. And if you do it here, in addition to the special operation, that the camera usage will allow us to ticket, tow, and up to an arrest. And Mr. President and Council, that is the update I wanted to provide to you all. And thank you for leaning in on this topic, because I know it's happening in all of your districts. I know you get calls and texts and emails about it. It is not isolated to one neighborhood. It is literally happening in all 99. That's my update, Mr. President.
Sure. Councilman Moore.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say, thank you to this council and to the mayor and to the officers, for the work that is being done to address this issue. Like you stated, all of us have experienced exhibition driving taking place in our districts. And, it's definitely something that needs to be stopped. I know, although I'm excited about, what's taking place with exhibition driving and the bills the bill that has been put in place to address it, we're still having, specifically in District 4, we're still having an issue on 29th Avenue North in front of Collegeville Recreation Center, as well as over by Norwood Elementary School, 16th Avenue North, where folks are continuously speeding. And I know that that's not one of those high traffic areas that exhibition driving may be, on the radar for folks to look into, but I need for the police officers to look into those areas because those are high traffic areas for children.
Cedric, you got those addresses?
So 29th Avenue North and 16th Avenue North. 29th Avenue North is in Collegeville, right in front of the Collegeville Rec Center. People come down off of the hill of Fred Shuttlesworth, and they speed through. And it's very hard to see children while they're walking across the street because cars are parked on both sides as well. And so I would love to be able to see some speed cushions be put in those areas because if there are no officers there, the same type of activity will still take place, right? And I don't want to, put a camera up and risk a kid being hit just to be able to go back and look and say, this is the person who did it. Like, let's be proactive in making sure that, we can slow folks down so that that's not the case. So,
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Council Williams.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Mayor, for your work on that and your administration's work. And I apologize, I was a little late to your report. I have a concern about the way, and I understand we absolutely have to have these cameras for a level playing field. And I think that the idea that we would not be granted access to the cameras, we have to have it for a level playing field. I do have a concern, though, because of instances that not only have been reported to me, but instances that have personally happened. The other day, during the business day, I was coming from, on 6th Avenue from where the Police Academy gym is, all the way back through UAB down 6th. And there were several people doing exhibition driving in the middle of the day. So I called the police, multiple police officers passed by and let it happen. And I had called 911. I think I called back again, actually, to let them know. But one thing that was frustrating to me is that not only did BPD officers pass by and allow this to happen, but also UAB police. And so my request would be is, can we have some synergy with UAB police to aid us in this? They have such a large footprint downtown.
Yeah. I think the operation's been joint between the city and the sheriff's office.
Agreed.
The more the merrier. I don't think Deputy Chief of the operation, in an ideal world, he may be listening to this, but Cedric, if he's not, let's be sure to ask for permission for UAB to tag along and provide additional enforcement. So we know Fifth South, 6th South, in the Lakeview area was one of those areas. And part of the joint operation on the suppression side of the operation, including having officers in that area with visibility lights. And so the truth is, again, this is a very wide problem, right? You try to have an operation at the height of when you know the activity is going to occur, knowing that it's still going to occur either in other areas of town and or other times of the day. So I think adding UAB is helpful. I definitely think the cameras would be the ultimate game changer. So doing both works. That is something we will take back. I think they were willing to participate.
Yeah, they have a number of officers that is pretty amazing at any one shift because of the type of operations that they do. So that would it's a request.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Councilor Clark.
Mayor, thank you for your attention to this. I just want to say that every night from 11 to about 2 a.m., 5 Points West Avenue, 3rd Avenue West, in earshot of the West Precinct, so I'm sure they can validate. I mean, it's on. I mean, if you wake up in the middle of the night, you might not get back to sleep because the noise.
We're very aware of the 800 block of 3rd Avenue West. And, I don't want to give publicly all the detail of that operation. But I want to be very clear publicly saying this. Private business owners who have their own business and their property is private property are responsible for their private property. And ultimately, if you're going to hire an off-duty officer, whether it be BPD, sheriff, or any other form of officer, you still need your own safety plan for your property. Because the activities happening on your property is only so much the off-duty beat officer who's on foot can do related to how you manage your private property. Now, granted, when it spills out into third, we become 100% solely responsible. And again, not wanting to share too much information about design focus on Third West and giving that detail. What I can tell you is, Madam Chairwoman, looking at you as public safety, I'm aware you get the calls. I imagine your colleagues send the calls to you. I want to strike a balance. I don't want to punish business owners. I think you all know how we derive what we do here in the city. There's a relationship between what we do and small businesses. But they have to be responsible for what happens on their private property. And I think between you, Madam Chairwoman, I think between legal department, I think between business compliance and with the Birmingham Police Department, there can be continued conversations about providing notice, giving notice, and sharing and over-communicating to small business owners who tend to attract patrons at a high level outside, that they are co-responsible in what happens related to the spillover effect and their ability to decrease crime in their footprint.
May I?
Yes.
So to one of those businesses, I believe the people have shifted to a closed business and gathering at a business that is closed during those hours. So, but I do want to, the gathering and the fighting is one thing, the driving, the way they drive on Inslee Avenue and Third Avenue West.
Majority of those, what I can tell you is that past tense, the April 12th weekend, because of what you shared, majority of those arrests came from the 800 block of Third Avenue West. If not all, but definitely majority.
Councilor Smitherman?
Thank you, Mr. President. As far as your last comment, I do agree, we do need to strike a balance with the businesses, and I talked to one business in particular, and they did control the situation the best they could, but eventually it did come into the sidewalk, into the streets where it was our responsibility. And so you have to understand a business has to balance between, their security has only so much jurisdiction to control a crowd. And so, basically what's going to happen is they're going to watch this happening and they'll get the blame. And really, Birmingham Police Department, it's their job to kind of control the crowd. So I don't know if there's like a strategy where we know it's summertime. We know there are certain parts of the city where people like to congregate. Can we just have like extra patrol, not extra patrol, but like have them have like concentrated patrol then? Because honestly, I'm gonna be real honest. We can close down some businesses, but all that's gonna happen is we're gonna have more crowds of people in just smaller places, and that's gonna make it worse.
I appreciate you being real, Councilor Smitherman. It allows me to say pretty much my frank thoughts in responding to you. I don't have an interest in closing any businesses. I just want them to literally do their part. I want to define a portion of that. So I'm not going to push back or challenge what you said. I'm comfortable with providing more police. At the exact same time, as I understand it, the business makes money inside, not outside. So if you're going to have outdoor events and spillover, as I understand it, you need a permit for certain areas outside, if that's going to be your model where a certain portion of your business is outside. So again, Madam Chairwoman, we just need to make sure that businesses are complying with the law, right? They can voluntarily come in here, and if part of their business model is for indoor and outdoor activity, whether it is in a parking space or use of sidewalk. They need a permit to do that, and if they don't, then whether it's a fire marshal or BPD, we'll just shut the whole thing down.
But, okay, I'm gonna push back on that, because if they close their club, for example, or their business, and all of that activity comes into the sidewalk and they're not associated with it, you're punishing a business for something it's not their fault. That's like if we have a big, whatever, celebration at City Hall, right? And then you're like, hey, we're gonna shut it down, and everybody goes into the street or the sidewalk and they continue their partying. That has nothing to do with us, but we would get blamed for it. I just want to play devil's advocate, because I don't want us to punish these businesses, and honestly, they're not doing anything. Now, if they're wrong, I get it, but we can't do that, because honestly, that's part of the problem with a lot of our activity, is that young people don't have enough to do. That's the problem. And I don't know how we can control it, but anyways, and also there's another thing I'm gonna talk to you about with the residents, because you cannot say degrading remarks to people just because of their activity. You cannot say racial slurs. You cannot talk about people as well. So we also have to have that honest conversation as well. And also, where you're living. So you can't just be, making a ruckus, etc., just because you live above a club by a club. So I just want to make sure we just have a good balance with that.
Yes, ma'am. I think that's fair. You said it.
That's
agree.
fine. I'll say it, because I would hate
No,
for somebody,
no,
for me to be somewhere, and somebody's yelling out their window talking about me. But I just want to protect the businesses and
Yeah.
also protect us as the residents as well.
I agree. I think, to the entire council and to the public, particularly residents who live in mixed districts where people live, work, and play. There's a difference between loud and something you deem annoying and something illegal. I want to be very clear with BPD's focus is on illegal activity. If something you don't like, if something is annoying to you, or something is loud, that is very different from illegal. And whether it's either one,
Yeah.
yes, public comments that can be racially insensitive, or tone deaf, or disrespectful, have no place in this conversation as it relates to how do we address this public safety issue. So, yes, ma'am, I 100% agree with you.
You're all right. I'll say you cannot say that you can hose people down. Also, another thing, what was I going to say? I think the biggest problem with our police, and I've seen them do their job, because I think told you I saw street racing in downtown, but I think just more consistency would help out. And I know we have our problems in the police department, but I think if we're consistent in our enforcement, I think things will get better. Because you can't really enforce, this is not a knock to you, you can't enforce one day and then the next day the police kind of sit back and let things happen. Because I think one of us just said that, like, it literally happens. I've seen it, they just sit back and let it happen. They can't. I don't know if you can give them the okay, but they have got to go and enforce it right then when they see it, or we're going to have a really horrible summer.
So there's a balance. Again, I think one of the notes I made was that no officers were hurt. We have to strike the balance of what a chase policy versus a non-chase policy. We have to strike the balance in giving chase. We know they like to run. And at what point do we engage to not increase public safety concerns, i.e. wrecking of police vehicles, wrecking of other citizens' vehicles who are not involved, and or worse, causing harm to other citizens while in pursuit. And so I would never substitute my judgment for an officer who sees an activity where there's a calculated decision to make of how does our policy work as it relates to giving chase from a fleeing vehicle, even after the fact that they activate their lights. There's some calculations here that, I think maybe require more conversation, but there's definitely a balance in that conversation. Again, while I'm encouraged by, even if the officer does not follow or chase based on safety reasons, or even if there are multiple cars and there's only one officer, so, they're making a calculated decision on how to engage, or even how to, provide the necessary equipment for an actual police vehicle, if a bump is required or a pit maneuver is required. All these things are calculated on how and when to engage. The cameras levels that out because even then we can just identify, here is certain information that can be relayed or shared, and then we can get that car, even if not in that moment, we will walk down where that car is.
I'm sorry, what? I want to talk about the street racing. I mean, in general. I mean, fireworks, anything. Like, I need them to really get to it. I think Council Williams, I need them to get to it. Like, I'm not asking them to get on set. I need them to get to it. Because I think if we do that, then we don't have to almost feel like the police are infiltrating our neighborhoods, like our business districts. So, thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Tate?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to, I'm not going to prolong my conversation, but I want to just give Councilor Smitherman kudos for lifting up, the situation about degrading comments that was made, and we're in 2024 in a civil rights district. Viewing individuals and saying holds them down. In 2024, we're not going to do that here in Birmingham. And as Councilor Smitherman said, we really need to find these individuals something to do. But charity starts at home. Let me make that real clear. These parents and the people that these people are affiliated with, all this stuff is posted on social media. You can go out there and look on somebody's social media page. They got their whole playbook out there. But I do want to just lift this comment up, Mayor. About a couple of months, maybe 3 months ago, I sent every business to come to City Hall and engage with business compliance so we can start reviewing their safety plan. Because as Councilor Smitham said, a lot of this stuff spills out into the community, just trying to see what type of safety plan do you have, how tight your plan is, because you are responsible, for these individuals when they are coming into your establishment. So we're going to engage business owners once again, hauling them into City Hall, because I don't want people to think that we just sitting up here and not addressing the issues that we see. My phone blows up every weekend with a video, somebody calling me, somebody sending me messages, saying, hey, we've tried to contact certain people, we can't get in. And I literally get on the phone and I say, send me your number, because I don't want to go back and forth with somebody on an email. And that's very appreciative. People saying, I've reached out, nobody's called, but you've called, you've answered the call. Yes, that's what I do. But, again, as all been stated up here, something has to be done, because I nearly was ran off the road last year, and I think I called you because I was very upset. Somebody was stomping on their brakes or donut, and the car just swerved, and I literally had to swerve off the street. Because if I had just stayed in that lane, that car would have probably killed me. And this exhibition drive and the things that people are doing is I don't know. I mean, just to see somebody shut a street down at 4 o'clock in the evening time and doing the things that I saw on that video, it's just, they being kids or teenagers but it's just, I think in this city, we really need to be talking about healing and reconciliation. We really need to be doing a deep dive into it. We need to have a healing summit. Let's get healed in Birmingham, Alabama. We really need to do that, because we got people, as they said, just listening to that comment was a trigger for me. You want to hold somebody down in 2024? Are you kidding me? I'm done. That's all I got to say.
Councilor Clark?
I just had one little question, because I'm not clear about who all can be punished or, has consequences from these events. I know there are lots of spectators, and there may be people blocking the street so that the event can occur, and they may be more stationary and, catchable, if you will.
Let me pull this up if you don't mind.
Okay.
So related to motor vehicles to amend section 13A11, Code of Alabama, 1975, and then I forgot the other section. It gives the definitions, and then it talks about, you said who? So either the driver or the person that gives consent for their car to be used. That's one, and then
Okay.
you want to know about the punishment as well?
Well, and who else? Because those folks are a moving target, but there are people keeping the traffic back in the intersections.
yeah,
And
so
then
the-
there are all these spectators who are endangered by the activity, but apparently aren't doing anything illegal, maybe.
So, Mr. President, I need to check for the current bill that passed last year. I don't remember. If anybody remembers, tell me. I remember a conversation about how do you hold the spectator accountable, particularly one that's out there videoing the behavior and or the one that's hanging out of the window. I'm not sure how far that got. What I'll do is I'll go back and look, right? That part of the activity is not just doing it around where people congregate, but there are a host of people who, their part is to videotape or record or whatever, go live with it. So holding the spectator accountable, particularly the one that's out, the ones that are doing the videos. I need to check into the current law to see if it included spectator. Honestly, I don't remember.
Okay. Council Williams.
On that, the spectators seem to be amplifying the situation in a lot of the ones that I've witnessed.
That's the whole idea, right?
Yeah, and without that attention, they seem to move to the next intersection to see if they can garner that attention. But every single one of the spectators that I have seen have been obstructing the flow of traffic, which is already an Alabama state code. Will they, can we, can we, is there something more that they can be charged with? Probably not under, maybe not, I don't know. I know you just said you were gonna look into it. But they crowd the streets and they put themselves in jeopardy and they put other civilians in jeopardy as that traffic backs up in that intersection. And I know, every single one of them obstruct the flow of traffic on our streets as they, even if they're not filming, if they're just cheering them on or watching.
Yeah, I think there are two different things here, right? There, current existing law about pedestrian blocking the flow of traffic, that's a law. I want to get very clear on that. Then there's the exhibition law bill that was passed last year. Honestly, again, I need to go back and look at it. I don't remember or don't recall if it includes holding spectators accountable. However, if it doesn't, I think while we're on this topic, let's clear this hurdle of camera usage, right? It's been something we've been trying to do for at least 3 years. Let's clear this hurdle, and then let's come back after this session and take a look at how do we get more teeth to hold the spectators accountable.
All right. I just want to wrap this conversation up by offering my 2 cents. So a lot of the exhibition driving activity has been occurring in my district, District 5, so First Avenue North downtown, 9th Street in Smithfield, Lakeview, Fifth Avenue South, and over the past several years, but the last 2 or 3 years especially, I've spent an inordinate amount of time talking to residents about this and hearing their frustrations, and that includes, Saturday morning via text or call. It's been something that's been extremely frustrating for me. Granted, residents are frustrated when at 2 o'clock in the morning, there's basically the equivalent of a drag strip happening right outside of their home. I just want to say, thank you to constantly listening to, my sharing my frustrations and, by way of my residents. But, in the words of Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. And, Birmingham will never return to the days of Bull Connor tactics to address, these types of issues. Stupid stuff gets said in neighborhood meetings all the time, some of that got captured last week and went viral, and it's inexcusable. But in no way does anyone here, condone that. And I just want to make it absolutely clear that that's, type of comment is abhorrent and reprehensible. And, again, we will not be returning to the days of Bull Connor tactics to address these types of issues. So hopefully the state legislature can help us, get the situation under control, give us another tool in the toolbox, and we'll soon put this behind us.
Yes, sir. Thank you all.
If I could just say, someone has already looked at the existing legislation, and it doesn't look like it has anything to do with the spectators or anyone that's witnessing. Most of the felonies are regarding destroying property, hitting or destroying property while exhibition driving, and those type things. So it would help us if we could increase and extend it even further, but I'm grateful for what's being proposed at this time, and we can move forward further, so thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all so much.
Okay, we'll move on to our regular order of business and read the statement on the conduct of business. All items designated as consent are routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. All items on the consent agenda will be announced by reading the item number only. No separate discussion of these items will be permitted unless a council member or the mayor requests the item be removed from the consent agenda. Additionally, a citizen interested in addressing the council with respect to an item on the consent agenda designated for public hearing may request the item be removed from the consent agenda to hold the hearing on the item. Any items removed from the consent agenda will revert to its normal place on the agenda order of business. For remaining matters, all matters of permanent operation will be read and all public hearings will be announced. Madam Clerk, could we please read through the items on the consent agenda?
Yes, sir. The consent agenda starts on page 2 with items 1 and 2. Then we go over to page 6 with item number 3. Go over to page 10 with item number 4. Page 12 with item number 5. Then we're going to go all the way over to page 23 with items 6 and 7. Then we'll go over to page 28 with item number 8. Page 29, items 10, 11, and 12. Page 30, items 13 and 14. Please note that item 15 has been requested to be withdrawn by the administration. Page 31, we have items 16, 17, and 18. On page 32, we have items 19, 20, and 21. On page 33, we have items 22, 23, and 24. On page 34, we have items 25, 26, 27, and 28. Page 35, we have items 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34. And on page 36, we have item 35, and that completes the consent agenda.
All right. Do we have any members of the council who wish to add or remove an item from the consent agenda? All right. I would like to add the addendum. I would suppose that's number 37, or do we have to read that?
It'll have to be done by unanimous consent.
Okay, all right, so we'll leave that off. All right, so the items 1 through 8 are on the consent agenda and marked as public hearing. Do any members of the public wish to add or remove one of those items from the consent agenda? All right, can we get a motion on the consent agenda, please? So moved. Second. All right, I believe we're ready for the vote.
Okay. That was Councilman Williams. All right, and Councilmember Moore. Okay, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
All right, the consent agenda passes. Next item, please.
The next item will be on page 28, and that's item 9. An ordinance approving and authorizing the mayor to execute for and as the act of said city, a contract for sale of real estate between the city of Birmingham and Scannell Properties number 653 LLC, under which the city will sell approximately 19 acres of land located at 450 Republic Street in the Daniel Payne Industrial Park to Scannell Properties for a purchase price of $55,000 per acre for an estimated total purchase price of $1,045,000, with the property to be used for development of a 50,000 square foot office and warehouse facility, and further authorizing the mayor to execute a statutory warranty deed and such other documents and instruments as are required to finalize the sale of the subject property under the terms of the contract. This is an item of permanent operation, so we need unanimous consent first to take it up.
Second.
Williams and Alexander.
Councilmember Abbott?
Aye.
Councilmember Clark? Aye. Councilmember Moore? Aye. Councilmember Tate? Aye. Councilmember Smitherman?
Aye.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Council President Pro Tem Alexander?
Aye.
And Council President O'Quinn.
Aye.
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, that item passes. Next item. I'm sorry, Council Clark, go ahead.
Thank you. I did support the item, but I just wanted to ask Chief Mitchell, the proceeds of a sale like this, does it go into the general fund, or I think some of the CDBG funds were used to develop the industrial park?
Yeah,
Is any of it program income, or does it for CDBG, or does it just go back?
let me find, I'm sorry, Mr. President.
Yes.
Let me find out about that, because if it's CDBG related, it would have to go to that particular fund, because it cannot be commingled with the general fund. So let me figure that out.
Okay,
I'll get a
just
report
curious.
back
I thought you would know offhand.
I'm sorry, I usually do.
Yeah, we'll find out. I mean, but,
I'll send an email to the council.
yeah, I was under the impression that surplus property, a portion of the sale went to the RISE fund for use.
If it's not CDBG related, yes.
Okay, gotcha. All right, we'll get a definitive answer on
Okay.
that.
Thank you.
Okay. Madam Clerk, I think that was our only other item. Is that correct?
Yes, so, and just to, reiterate, on page 30, item 15 was withdrawn at the request of the administration.
All
The
right.
next item we would have would be the item for unanimous consent.
Right.
Which is a resolution approving the advanced expense account of an elected official. So you'll need UC for that.
Second.
So Williams and Smitherman.
Councilmember Abbott. Aye. Councilmember Clark. Aye. Councilmember Moore. Aye. Councilmember Tate. Councilmember Smitherman. Aye. Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Council President Pro Tem Alexander. Aye. And Council President O'Quinn.
Aye.
Now we need a motion on the item.
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, that item passes.
And that's the last item.
That brings us to the end of our items. We'll move to announcements. Counselor Tate, are you ready?
Thank you, Mr. President. Dolomite Neighborhood Meeting will be held tonight at 6 p.m. and that's conference call. And the meeting ID is 720-843-2669. The passcode is 378-89426. And also would like for you guys to keep Amelia Harvey. She's the secretary of Dolomite. Her nephew was killed in a motorcycle accident this Sunday in Brighton, Bessemer. So that was, if anybody saw that news story, that was her nephew. Fountain Heights Neighborhood Meeting will be held on tonight, April the 23rd, 6 p.m. at the Fountain Heights Rec Center. Enridge Neighborhood Meeting will be held on Thursday, April the 25th at 6 p.m. And it's going to be held on conference call. You can dial in at 312-626-6799. And the meeting ID is 689-971-1270. The passcode is 068464. Join us this Saturday at the Daniel Payne Legacy Village for the Good R grocery store. This is going to be a game changer in District 9. So that's Miss Jasmine Crow Houston is the founder of and the CEO of Gooder Grocery Store. They'll be hosting a grand opening ribbon cutting on Saturday at 11 a.m. and it'll take place at the Daniel Payne Community Plaza located at 1500 Daniel Payne Drive. So if you guys can come out, this is going to be a game changer for families in District 9. They are allowing up to 10 families to shop free. And so just please come out and support this effort that's going down in District 9. Derby Day, we're getting ready for the District 9 Derby Day. It's going to be at City Walk this year, May 4th from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. So you can join us at 2200 9th Avenue North for Derby Day. The next public safety meeting will be held on Tuesday, May 14th at 1 p.m. So please submit agenda items by Wednesday, May 8th. No later than 12 noon to patrice.collins at birminghamal.gov, gregory.stanley@birminghamal.gov. That concludes my announcements.
All right, thank you. Council Williams.
Thank you, Mr. President. No neighborhood meetings to report for District 2. However, big event this weekend, which is one of our largest economic development and tourism events in central Alabama, as the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix will be at Barber Motorsports this weekend, and there will be, I think tickets are sold in all, or 49 states, not Hawaii or Alaska, someone's slacking and coming. But other than that, we're going to be welcoming a lot of people into the city of Birmingham, which is exciting to showcase our city, showcase Barber, and obviously recoup some hotel tax from them. So excited about that, and that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Pro Tem Alexander.
Yes. Thank you very much. These are the announcements for District 7. Bulk trash and brush pickup is scheduled for Germania Park South today. So if the truck hasn't been by, please be sure to put your bulk trash and brush out for pickup. Tomorrow, bulk trash and brush pickup is scheduled for the Powderly neighborhood. On Friday, April 26th, the Garden Highlands Neighborhood Association will meet at 4 p.m. at Mount Hilliard Baptist Church. I do want to remind everyone that in conjunction with Earth Day, which was yesterday, we'll be showering some love on D7 this Saturday for our annual Love D7 Day. It's a day of community cleanups and a day of community service. We'll be starting at 8:30 a.m. at the Jones Valley Middle School. That's at 2000 31st Street Southwest. We'll start registration at 8:30. We'll be going out into the communities. I'm asking all of the neighborhoods in D7 to participate in this cleanup. It can be large or small. Just 3 neighbors to your left, 3 neighbors to your right, and you pretty much clean the whole block. So let's do it. And again, we'll have a secure shredding and recycling. That truck will be on hand, and that'll be there from 9 till 11. After we finish our cleanup from 11 to 12, we'll come back to Jones Valley, and we'll just have some celebration. We'll have giveaways, bouncy house, music, shaved ice. So again, we're going to shower some love on D7. Please join us. We'll be putting up a list of the items that are acceptable for e-recycling. Unfortunately, if you're like me, I still have some big fat TVs that I need to get rid of. So they are not taking those, okay? But everything else they're taking. Thank you.
All right. Thank
And that is in conjunction with Love D7 Day. So it'll be Saturday, 27th from 9 till 11 at Jones Valley Middle School. Trucks will be there. Thank you.
All right. Councilor Smitherman?
Thank you, Mr. President. We don't have any neighborhood meetings this week. The next Budget and Finance meeting will meet Monday, May 13th at 3:30 p.m. Submissions are due Wednesday, May 8th by noon. Submissions received after noon will be placed on the next Budget and Finance agenda. Let's support Railroad Park as we celebrate Small Business Week next Tuesday, April 30th from 5 to 7. They will have a special in-store event at Urban Vintage Clothing. So network with local business owners, purchase a limited edition Railroad Park t-shirt, and enjoy food by 1918 Catering. And then there will be a Small Business Week ribbon cutting in District 6. Well, it just so happens to be in District 6. It will be at 9 a.m. It's a new restaurant called Mama Nim Southern Kitchen. You know, Councilor Clark, they actually thought it was in your district, but it's on the very line of my district because it's in Rising, West Princeton, but it's right across the street from Rickwood Field. It's fine dining, Southern comfort food. He actually plans to hang photos of baseball players and different, oh yeah, I want it because this food sounds good. And they call the lounge area the dugout. And then some of the food they're going to have steak and lobster, meat and 2 lunch specials, Maxwell Street Dog. So it's really good, and it's off of Lum Avenue. So if you have a chance, after they open on Monday, make sure you go and support it. And on June 20th, right before the Field of Dreams game, make sure to support them, get you something good to eat. So thank you, Mr. President.
All right. Thank you. Councilor Abbott?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll try turning on my microphone. The next Planning and Zoning meeting that was scheduled for Wednesday, April 24th is canceled. So you have a little extra time in your life. We have 2 vacancies on the Birmingham Planning Commission, and we ask that residents submit their resumes to valerie.abbott@birminghamal.gov. The deadline for submissions will be Monday, April 29th. Also, we have 2 openings on the Zoning Board of Adjustment. One is for a contractor, and the other is a supernumerary position. And the submission deadline will be May 14th for those, and same location to send resumes to valerie.abbott@birminghamal.gov. Tonight's neighborhood meeting, the Redmont meeting, is canceled. The last Southside Community Framework Plan meeting will be held tonight, Tuesday, April 23rd. The meeting will start at 6 p.m. and it is at the Highlands United Methodist Church in 5 Points South. The address of that church, it's the one right behind the fountain most people know where it is, but the address is 1045 20th Street South. And we just want to encourage people to call 311 with their request, or use the MyBHM 311 app, which is particularly good because you can include photos. So that is it for District 3. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Councilor Moore?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Wanted to say thank you to Woodlawn United, who hosted the We Lead Fellowship graduation. Ms. Maisha Hutchison led a panel discussion with myself and Terry Harville, and in honor of the graduation of the students that were a part of that program, building future community leaders and advocates. And so I wanted to just say thank you to them for allowing me to be there. We also have the Harriman Park Neighborhood Association that will take place this Thursday at 6:30 at Harriman Park Rec Center, as well as Norwood Neighborhood Association that will take place on this Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Norwood Community Center. The Park and Recreation Board will meet on May 1st, which is a Wednesday at 9 a.m. at Legion Field, and the Community Development Committee will have their next meeting not May 1st, but May 15th. So not May 1st, but May 15th on Wednesday at 2 p.m. in the council chambers. And that concludes my announcement.
All right, thank you. Councilor Clark?
Thank you, Mr. President. Announcements for Council District 8 this week. The Bush Hills neighborhood will meet today at 6:30 p.m. in the Bush Hills Connection Complex. That's the former Woodrow Wilson School in the auditorium. The address is 1030 4th Terrace West. I want to welcome to Birmingham the Purpose-Built Communities Conference. It's starting today and continuing through Thursday. The Purpose-Built Network includes our very own Woodlawn United. That's already been mentioned. Sometimes their approach is called the community quarterback approach. The solution and the basis for the Purpose-Built Communities model is a coordinated, holistic approach based on quality and focused on sustainability. It grew from the realization that it's not enough to improve or replace a single aspect of a struggling neighborhood. So they're in town this week, and we're glad they're convening all of their sites across the country in Birmingham. Don't forget to join the public library for International Jazz Day. Jazz is one of my favorite things. That's going to be Tuesday, April 30th from 1 to 3 p.m. You can bring a lawn chair or a blanket and have a picnic in the courtyard next to the research library at the Downtown Central Library. Saxophonist Fred Jones will perform a free jazz concert, and the featured food truck is King V's Hot Dogs. This program is free and open to the public. In case of inclement weather, the concert will be held inside the Central Library. I'm pleased to announce, or just reiterate, because the mayor already announced it, that Mayor Woodfin will join me at the Crossplex for the District 8 Town Hall meeting on May 9th. That's starting at 6 p.m. And various department heads will be in attendance to provide updates, answer questions, and note the concerns expressed by residents. So please mark your calendars and plan to attend, and bring some neighbors with you. There's one more Saturday in April to join the free springtime walks through history with historical context expert Barry McNeely. The meetup is at the Shuttlesworth statue in front of the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute at 10 a.m. on Saturday, April 27th. Be sure to wear comfortable shoes, and don't forget to tag BCRI in your pictures and videos. And I report on some of these cultural things as chair of arts and culture. We don't meet very often. We do need to meet. But I have some somber news. I'd like to ask this council to join me in passing a resolution of sympathy to the family of Arlington Antebellum Home Director Toby Richards, who lost her 31-year-old son, Jason Elliott Hurt Richards, to cancer recently. We'll continue to hold them in prayer. I'd like to make a motion for UC.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
And now move the resolution.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Thank you. And finally, if you're looking for a fun way to get active and meet your neighbors in District 8, you can join us any Thursday morning, weather permitting, for a walk around the Crossplex. We meet at the Starbucks and start promptly at 8 a.m. It's a short walk. All paces are welcome. Thank you.
All right. For district, well, let me just back up. So, counselors, you're aware that we have a organization in Jefferson County called the Jefferson County City Councilors Coalition. It's city councilors from various municipalities throughout Jefferson County. They are meeting tomorrow morning at Ferris Artisan Ales in Trussville at 8:30 a.m., switching it up a little bit. Used to be a lunch. They're going to do a breakfast this time. So 8:30 a.m., Ferris Artisan Ales. It's a good way to network with other city councilors in Jefferson County. Would love to see you there. This weekend in Gate City, we have a cleanup that's being hosted by Oak Tree Ministries that starts at 10 a.m. Oak Tree Ministries is located on Kimberly Avenue next to Mark's Village. Look forward to seeing people out there on Saturday morning. Fountain Heights Neighborhood Association will meet tonight at 6 p.m. at the Fountain Heights Recreation Center. Crestwood North Neighborhood Association also meets tonight at 6:30 p.m. at Girls Incorporated. Just a reminder that Birmingham Park and Recreation is still hiring for summer lifeguards. However, the time is clicking, and you only have until May 10th to apply. No certification is needed, but you have to be 16 years old by May 10th, 2024. Please contact 254-2189 if you're interested. Registration is also now open for the 2024 Birmingham Park and Recreation Summer Camp. There's still spaces available. The first session will be June 10th through June 28th. And the second session will be July 8th through July 26th. Each session costs $150. Call either 254-2303 or 254-2391 for more information. And also really looking forward to the Indy races this weekend out at Barber Motorsports Park. It's going to be a beautiful weekend and always an amazing event. I want to recognize before we have our public speakers, I want to recognize our officers on duty this morning. As always, we have Cedric Pinkard, who's based here in City Hall. We also have Kiana Suttles from North Precinct and Micah Blair from North Precinct. Thank you for being here with us this morning. Madam Clerk, that brings us to the public speakers portion of our meeting. Can we please have our first speaker?
The first speaker is Colin Randall.
Mr. Randall, as you approach the lectern, please remember to state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
Hello, counselors. My name is Colin Randall, 1032 28th Place South, Apartment 2 in Highland Park neighborhood. I'm here today with regards to this body passing a ceasefire in Gaza resolution. We have seen over the past 6 months and over 35,000 killed. This conflict will not end from anything happening in Israel or Palestine Domestic politics in Israel make the war rather popular, and unfortunately, realities in Gaza make the war unwinnable. It is a stalemate. It is up to the international community to intervene and put an end to this genocide. We know the importance of the U.S. on the international stage. Unfortunately, we have fallen far short in our actions on the federal level. Nothing gets done in Washington, as we all know, and for the most part, cities and states have been left to pick up the slack. Cities and states have picked up the slack with regards to all sorts of things: clean energy switch, criminal justice reform, and in this case, passing ceasefire resolutions. Well over 100 cities have passed such resolutions, notably our close neighbor Atlanta passed theirs all the way back in November. We are way behind on this. If we want this city to punch above its weight and be a true international city, a host of the World Games, we have to start acting like it, and that takes responsibility and acts of courage. This resolution should be easy to pass. It has no funding requirements and no enforcement. It is simply a message that Birmingham is just one of over 100 like-minded cities with a local focus and an international perspective. It is a message to the world and those in power that Birmingham cares about human rights, as we always have. An injustice to one is an injustice to all. And human rights are human rights, and it is up to the international community to enforce them. That is it. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Next speaker, please.
The next speaker is Laquan Jackson.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I stand before you as an adopted, Laquan Jackson, 1236 River Ford Drive, Hoover, Alabama, 35216. Stand before you as an adopted son of Birmingham, coming from New York as a dropout. Upon arrival, I stumbled to Miles College. Miles College educated me, sent me to Lawson State to get my GED. Went back to Miles, 4-year degree, did some law school there, and I've been serving Birmingham ever since. I stand before you on behalf of the organization we're called Team No Breaks. We started during COVID. Started out cycling group, and then we grew to be like a health and wellness group. We've raised over $50,000 giving kids and adults bikes. We partnered up with a neighborhood called Goldwire, which was senior citizens during COVID, where we gave them bikes. We gave them $20,000 to help them get during COVID, all our money raised. Bikes for kids, breast cancer walks, feeding homeless, pedal bikes, and then we were on a roll, and then 2022, I got hit by a truck. And if the devil was trying to kill me, he hit me. The truck then went through UAB window, and I would spend 2022 to 2023 trying to heal, but God is good. So I'm clear why I'm here. I might not be the best speaker right now. I'm very nervous. I see one of my mentors that's here right now, JT Morse. Always good seeing you. But I'm clear why I'm here. We ride these neighborhoods at night, my cycling group, and some of you see us from District 1 to District 8. And the Birmingham that's portrayed on the news is not the Birmingham that I see. I see us have flats, and I see young people help us. I see older people help us. I see people late at night come and help us when we have these issues on our bikes. So it's a different view from what I see. I see love in Birmingham. Birmingham saved my life. And with that being said, I'm asking each district to partner up with Team No Breaks, because we have come up with an idea where we want to do a peace ride. We want to do a nonviolent ride that goes throughout all the districts, and we want to call it Breaking the Cycle. And so who will partner up with us? I'll give you my phone number. The young lady took my number. We would love to partner. We're big in numbers. We do so much more. We don't need your money. We just need your resources. my heart is for Birmingham. Like I said, y'all saved my life. So who will work with us? I feel like I'm on the Sharks television. Yeah, so, but I think, y'all are not Sharks, so don't quote me. But I just want to thank you guys for the time.
Mr.
Yeah, Counselor Tate?
Mr. President, can you share your number with me?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just actually scribbled something about, a peace ride. It's on the sheet?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll take it off the sheet. I'll contact you.
Okay, please. And it's always good seeing you. You helped us, Mr. O'Quinn, President Darrell O'Quinn, I'm trying to get the proper titles. But you helped us during COVID when we wanted to do the breast cancer ride, and they cut off, we couldn't get access to you, but you did a good job of helping us. So I thank you.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've been on a bike, so I'll have to dust my equipment off and get out there and join you guys.
Absolutely. We want all of you on bikes. Don't tell me you want a bike, because my organization will get you a bike.
Anyone else? All right.
Nah, I just wanted to say thank you to Mr. Laquan, like for several years. Like I've always known him, or I know you as Q. Mr. Q has always been a resource to the community and always been involved. Back in 2011 with flamethrowers. Yeah, like really working with a lot of young people in the community. And so I just want to say thank you for the work that you're currently doing and for your resilience, regardless of what you've been through. So.
All right. Next speaker, please.
The next speaker is Pastor Chris Erskine and Elaine Colby, MD.
Good morning. Chris Erskine, 1140 Pratt Highway, Birmingham, Alabama, 35214. I come with great news today and to thank this council and the mayor's office for your vote of confidence with our community efforts in District 9. We were the privileged purchasers of the Scott School project. And the update today is that we are moving fastly with this project. I've spoken to President O'Quinn and several of you all privately. We've emailed you and your chief of staff a invitation to our ribbon cutting for our health clinic that will open this summer. Because of the generosity of the city, as well as the partnership in our community in District 9, as well as all of our neighborhood presidents on board, we were able to complete phase 1 with the health clinic much quicker than we thought. And so Dr. Colby is here. She is our director for our health clinic. We've created a movement foundation, which is a public foundation, 501c3. And so we are engaging the community. And I pray that each of you all will join us on May 11th for the ribbon cutting. So something new in District 9 and in our city can spark interest in other districts and other communities throughout the city. We're excited that the residents of not only Pratt City and North Birmingham and District 9, but any citizen who finds themselves with no insurance can come to that health clinic, and with a small copay of $20 to $25, they can be seen by a professional doctor or nurse practitioner. If they do not have the $20, we're going to raise it through our foundation, because we don't want anyone living in our city without quality health care. So again, thank you. It's already been sent to you in your emails, a personal invitation from us, and we look forward to seeing you on May 11th at 12 noon.
All right, thank you. All right, next speaker, please.
Our last speaker is Monique Williams. And that's the name.
Ms. Williams. All right, she's gone. All right, that brings us to the end of our agenda.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
All right,
All opposed?
all right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.